Hello, Val. Hello, Val. Hello. Hello.
Hi, just getting the technical sorted out. 1 minute.
Don't you worry about that. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you? Long time.
I'm really well. I'm very well. Good to see you.
You too. Long time.
Long time. Firstly, just thank you so much for agreeing to join me today.
Pleasure.
I hope you've had an idea as to what 2ndSpring is all about and what we're trying to do. It's women like yourself, inspirational professionals, that we're aiming at, get you talking, get you discussing what this journey is like. You know, the thing is, you see, Val, while some women sail through the menopause and other experiences without any symptoms, there are those that do have that challenge of various symptoms. And I would like to say, on behalf of 2ndSpring, we want to get women talking. We want women to share the journey so that it can be a blessing to other women.
Definitely.
And also to know that you're not alone. So let's get all the formalities out of the way and just get talking. As I said, thank you for joining me, Sazz Wanogho-Maud, the founder of 2ndSpring, a platform for women who are living, who are curious, and who are approaching the menopause, or should I say midlife, and all the
Indeed
that go with it.
Yes.
Firstly, I want you to tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay, so my name is Val Alexander, and I am a mother of two, a grandmother to two. I work in the National Health Service in the NHS in mental health.
Wonderful.
And I'm also privileged to be a foster carer. So my plate is quite full. And at a stage in my life where, you know, changes are taking place, milestones are happening, changes are taking place. And, you know, when this topic came up, it's something that's obviously, you know, having an effect on me. So I thought, why not? Let's do this. Let's try and get some education out there. Let's try and enlighten women, as you say, because I think the word menopause hasn't, you know, even for conventional medicine or doctors and nurses in today's society, it hasn't really been explored properly from what I'm learning.
Absolutely, Val, and thank you so much. I mean, you have got your plate full. And the thing about it is, as you said, the word, when you think about the menopause, how many women really are embracing this time of life? Because to be perfectly truthful with you, the menopause is something we should be embracing. It's a change in our lives. However, we shouldn't be suffering.
Absolutely.
There shouldn't be that sufferation that goes with menopause that many of us women are experiencing. Now, when I spoke with you, when we did the initial intro, and you actually volunteered to come forward boldly and talk about the menopause, you said that you were going through the changes, you were aware you were going through the changes, and you were at the early stages. Now, you work in the health, in the NHS. Wow. With everything that's going on, and you work in a particular section, or should I say sector,
that's correct.
You must be getting a lot of women in the in their midlife age that presumably you speak to that are suffering with other mental conditions. Now, have you come across any of those that you could say the menopause has contributed, or the menopause may have been something that they never even thought contributed to any of the illnesses or any of the symptoms or anything that they're going through?
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that, because yeah, I do work in the mental health sector, and you know, like many large organizations, we have a very bold diversity team, you know, an involved team. And through that platform, we do capture a lot of discussions around mental health, and also about general health, and how that, and definitely that way around, how the general health can actually, how the mental health, sorry, can actually affect anything that's going on with our health milestones that we go through. You know, obviously the menopause being the main topic here today. So although I haven't come across many discussions about it, we have had one recently, funny enough, where, you know, menopause was discussed. And yes, it does pose many questions around how we can manage the menopause with other mental health issues going on. And people aren't aware how serious, you know, these things are, how it can affect you, and what you should do, how you can try to kind of control the things that are happening in your life. You know, what do you take, if you do take anything, and how to kind of read your body, what's going on, and also how your family comes into it. How do you, you know, how do you control it alongside the people in your life? So yeah, it's definitely it
is the topic. Now you basically said, now going back to that question, mental health is something that is of total topics, total subject, right across the board, right across sectors, right across everything nowadays, because people, I would say everyone has joined the conversation, be it lawyers, be it celebrities, be it MPs, they've all joined the conversation about mental health. Yeah. And mental health was something that we couldn't consider speaking about 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. It was definitely of a taboo that associated with crackpot people who didn't really.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and now, because celebrities, because high profile people have been coming out and speaking about their mental health, it seems to be okay for the ordinary man or the ordinary person to say, now, I do have mental issues. Now, as you've rightfully said, Val, you've come across one particular case where a woman has basically said maybe the contributing factors to her illness could be associated with the menopause. In your honest opinion, and as a professional, do you think if there were any other women who were suffering symptoms that they could associate with feeling somehow mentally disordered, would they come forward? Do you think that they would come forward? Due to the menopause, like for instance, some women suffer with anxieties, some even suffer with thoughts that they can't understand the reasons why they're thinking these thoughts. Do you believe that they would come forward and admit that they really do consider something's going wrong, and it may be a contributing factor since they started the menopause?
I think the main thing to realize here is that you mentioned it. You've said that, you know, people are discussing subjects that were very much taboo back, not even as far back as 5-10 years ago. But now we have a culture where we're kind of dealing with a lot of awareness about so many different things. I mean, we see it everywhere, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, not just about health, about everything, you know, Black Lives Matters, you know, what we see on social media, health.
Let's go back to Black Lives Matters. Do you honestly believe? Because, you know, I don't know, because I'm quite, well, you know me, Val, you've known me for years and years and years, I have to say. You're more like a sister baby to me.
Absolutely.
Now, I've been
little sister.
very outspoken, not to offend, but to educate. And one of the things that I can honestly, I wouldn't like to say I believe it, but I do sometimes feel, coming as a Black woman from a Black family, I was very fortunate to have a mum that discussed everything with us.
Amen.
As women, as girls, everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Now, when I spoke to peers, they would often say to me, their mums didn't really discuss even puberty. They didn't discuss relationships. They didn't discuss when you begin to menstruate, and they certainly did not discuss the menopause.
Exactly. Now, and that is probably due to awareness, actually.
Absolutely. Now, right. I find that quite sad, to be perfectly
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
because I feel, I'm not even going to ask that question, I'm going to ask you that question. When do you feel girls should be taught about the menopause? Because schools have now introduced sex education. So, you know, I don't know if that should come from a school or it should come from a parent or it should be both. But keeping on the lines of education and sex education, when do you feel girls should be spoken to about menopause?
Goodness, as early as they can understand about it, because once you kind of plant that seed, what you know, a child will soak up information and they will learn through habit, they will learn through repetition. It's once it's, you know, in an educational setting, for example, at school, once you start teaching them the ABC, etc., then why not actually teach them about life skills, about what we go through in life, you know, from a health point of view, what we need to know about living life, even you know, teaching them about financial planning. Absolutely. About anything like that. We're not taught that. And when we hit the world, you know, when we hit, you know, the stage in our life where we need to kind of manage ourselves, manage our life holistically from all different types of angles, they're not aware. And unless they've been taught it, or, you know, and it's compounded, they're not going to know. So definitely in their primary school age years, I think it needs to start.
It needs to be something.
Yeah, definitely, because we all know that once we do something so many times, it starts to ingrain.
And you don't think that is considered something too heavy for what year would that be? Would that be the year 6, getting ready to go on to secondary school?
Yeah, I don't think it's too heavy, because where health is concerned, I think we need to be aware from day as early as possible what is going to affect us as humans, as human beings, so that we can know how to plan these things going forward. If we're taught about, you know, no means no in certain situations, right? You can teach a child about not taking sweets from strangers. You can teach a child about, you know, all the things that is going to affect them. So why not teach them about things that could help them enhance their lives through, you know, health education? So yeah.
Absolutely. Now, going back to you, Val, what are the symptoms that you are experiencing as a woman, starting or at the early stages of your menopause, that you could identify, that has allowed you to identify, I think I'm either perimenopausal or I'm approaching menopause? What would you say are the symptoms?
Okay, so the symptoms came to me in 2 ways. And that was through what I knew about it, and then from what I was experiencing physically. So I would read about what the symptoms could be.
Did you, sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry.
Start reading about the menopause early, or did you start reading about the menopause when you started to get these symptoms that you couldn't understand?
The first one, because what it is with my experience, with my journey, it came about when I was having conversations with my fellow women about the symptoms that they were experiencing, or people in their lives were experiencing, and they was wondering, well, why am I feeling like this? And obviously, being someone who, you know, who I am, I would research, I would talk about it when I could, you know, a busy life and everything. And it's kind of like, it affected, you know, I was getting changes in my body temperature. I was feeling anxiety, stroke, possibly depression, and not knowing why. You know, you get your body changes, like you have dryness, and you just have a sense of what's happening. I can't pinpoint what's happening. Why is this happening? You just have a feeling of,
feeling with,
and your mood as well, and especially the mood changes as well, and you can't really explain why. You have no reason until you read about, this is why It's
Now,
symptoms of the menopause.
your mood swings, did a family member, a friend, or colleague tell you about the mood swings, or did you actually know that you were having mood swings? Or
That
did
definitely came up. That definitely came up.
Right.
See, I'm naturally a very tolerant, very patient person, you know, by personality, by nature. So when my tolerance was very thin,
it was brought to your attention.
It was brought to my attention. Why are you like that? And what? And the questions actually posed, you know, imprinted in my mind, and thinking, yeah, why am I like that?
Oh.
So obviously, it led me to want to know why. And actually, once you have those discussions with your family, it becomes something that they understand and they can make allowances for, you know.
Now, was it hard to have those conversations? And who did you have these conversations with in terms of family members?
To be honest with you, my nearest and dearest, people who I'm around every day,
right?
My children, my children, my mother, my sisters, partner,
and did
son.
they say you became a monster, or did they say?
Absolutely. That I would get questions like, what is happening to you? What's going on? You're not like this usually. You know, those sort of questions. It was just so bizarre. And I didn't recognize myself. It was crazy.
At any point, did you cry?
Yes, I did. And actually I allowed myself to. Good. Because when obviously having discussions about it also with friends, colleagues, family members, going through the same thing, you know, it is a symptom, isn't it? And you just want to know why, and you don't like it. It's uncomfortable sometimes what you're going through, so you feel kind of quite vulnerable, sorry for yourself, alone. Do I have to go through this? Why do I have to go through this? You have all these questions. So yeah, it does, you know, and I'm not saying that it was done in public. It was done, I felt I just wanted to do it alone. Yeah. So,
in confidence, that's the way that you do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, you are one of the fortunate ones. You have someone, and you have a relatively good entourage of people that you can go to. You work within the NHS, so that's even kind of like a one-stop shop when you think about it. Fantastic. Now, would you say that going through this second stage of your life, the second spring of your life, has it interfered with you in any way? Has it interfered with your lifestyle? Has it interfered with your work? Has it interfered with your family?
Okay, so I guess yes. I mean, the answer is yes. And once those things were recognized, it was about putting strategies in place to kind of normalize things as much as possible. So for example, once you know you're going to get hot flushes, so I invested in a handheld fan, for example, so that I can, you know, the simple things, practical things.
Let's rewind here, Val, from the fan, and let's just imagine the bedroom scene now. Now, if I'm getting a bit personal, you say move on, Sazz, move on. Okay?
No, it's fine, go for it.
Now, I've often, you know, even with myself, you're getting these flushes, you're with your partner, your husband, whatever, and you get a hot flush, but you're in the bed. What do you do?
What do you do? You throw the covers off and say, I'm having a hot flush, babe. Literally, I need the fan on. Turn the fan on.
But this is where a lot of tolerance has to come into it, and a lot of patience, and
a lot of understanding, a lot of tolerance, communication.
Wonderful. Now that communication.
Yeah, and I think that people will definitely need to understand that, you know, you don't need to be alone with this. If you make people aware of what's going on, then they can understand what's going on and they can make allowances for it, and that will help you, you know, in this process, in this second spring, you know.
So you believe that your partner, your significant other, should be taken aside and sat down and go from the A to B to Z about what you're going to be going through for the next how many years?
hopefully, if you have that type of relationship, then yes, definitely. I know that, you know, it works in my world because I'm very fortunate to have that. Very understanding, very caring, and very aware. And so that is in itself is a blessing. But I do know that it's very difficult for some people, and it can even cause, you know, a very traumatic experiences for them. It can even cause breakups,
breakdown of
right down to that level. So we have to kind of keep that in mind, you know. But if you can communicate, and even if you know it's not going to work, it's still good to actually talk about it.
Yeah. So it's
rather
so
than
important. It's very important for men to equally, or the person to whom is in your life, to understand what you're going through and keep that communication open.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Now, share with us the positive steps that you've taken to make the journey as it is more simplistic for you.
Okay, I think for me, it's about mindset as well as the practical things. Yes, you can possibly take this, or you could take that, or you could do this, or you could do that. But I think having a really sound mindset and understanding of what you're going through is really important. You've got to get that mentality right. And you have to kind of equip yourself with as much research as you can do, so that you can understand it from many different point of views, many different aspects. So for me, I like to talk about it with many different people. I like to see what everyone is experiencing, because something might not work for you that works for them, or vice versa.
So you believe in the sharing. You believe.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I have found that has helped, and I'm actually kind of at the beginning of the stages of going through the menopause. So I think that, so I'm still at that stage where I'm still talking about it. I'm still gathering, you know, information and so on. And I think that actually talking to my family has helped, because obviously it means that you have that tolerance, to have that understanding. So you don't have to keep explaining yourself. Yeah. Having the practicalities of a fan sitting next to you or in your handbag.
So you're taking all the necessary precautions at work, at home, to really kind of like guard yourself for the day, in case you get hot flashes, and if you find yourself tearful, you can equally deal with that.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you know, you have the conversations and you say, well, I might experience it, I might experience this. Don't be alarmed. It's me it's me having a symptom of. I chose to go down the more holistic route, and that is through you know, more natural remedies for dealing with anxiety and the flushes and everything. And what I take is actually helping. I don't know if you want me to mention, but
absolutely, please do share. What is it?
I mean, I decided to try a Holland & Barrett product called Black Kosh, which is working for me. And it actually works around all the symptoms that you get. It doesn't get rid of it, but it does help. It does soften it. Absolutely. So and there was a time when I felt very overwhelmed with it, and I spoke to my GP and I said, can I have the HRT just in case, even though I knew I didn't want to, but because of the symptoms I felt that I might just need it, although it wasn't my preferred route, but it just seemed to be a comfort knowing that it was there. But I'm happy that I'm taking the Kosh and it's actually helping.
Okay, what was the reasons why you hesitated in taking HRT?
It was mainly because of the you know, the fact that it could pose other health problems, side effects mainly.
Now that is something that women still are very, very, I would say, not sure in regards to the information that is out there about HRT.
Yeah.
Because I even remember watching a documentary on HRT, Val, and it was said that HRT is not dangerous for women to take in the event of the menopause. Now, you work in the NHS, So hearing it from someone like yourself, okay, you're not a doctor, but you work within you must hear the conversations that go around HRT. Would you say, from your perspective and speaking to your doctor, that the information that you received would, in the event that the blockage didn't work, would you have taken it?
Personally, I wouldn't take anything else, only because for me, I feel that not enough study might not have been done on it. So for that, I'm very much someone who would like evidence-based. It's like reviews. If you're buying something, you want to see the reviews, you want to see, you know, if the product is
people that's
what
used
product
it
is going to be better for you,
yes,
which or the other. And that's not me being, I guess, arrogant or ignorant by any means. It just means that for me, that is my choice.
That's your
and if I don't know what the, you know, whether it will or it won't, or some symptoms that they have found they're not sure about, I'm not going to, you know,
get yourself to something that you
yeah, exactly. I'm not going to, yeah,
actually been researched enough, even
exactly. It's all about the research. Yeah, right. And unless it's founded, then I'm not going to consider it.
Right.
Yeah.
Something for you. So you come more from the holistic side of anything to do with what you're experiencing at the moment.
Yes, for me, it's more about the holistic.
And it's more about mindset.
Approach and about mindset. Definitely about mindset. And I think that people kind of underestimate mindset.
Yeah, I do believe that it, you know, without being ignorant or really directing it at women who are really experiencing a difficult time here. I mean, it's quite, I don't want to sound as if I'm just being flippant and saying it's about your mindset, because there are some women that unfortunately, because it's hormonal, it's a hormonal change, they are going through some serious symptoms.
Definitely.
And so I would say you are not alone. Don't stay there and suffer. You can get help. Speak to your doctor or have them refer you to a menopausal clinic where you can receive the help that you need.
Absolutely.
Now, about your workplace, how are your colleagues, or how would I say are your employers helping women with the menopause who are going through the menopause? Is it something you can bring to the HR, that they put something in place for you all?
Absolutely, especially in the last couple of years during lockdown, we have got so used to this virtual meeting lifestyle, and it's actually allowed people to have the time to bring together awareness about so many different things. And one of them being, you know, about health issues, especially with women and men and children. And it's made it so much more open, and you can actually approach the workplace, the organization, the NHS in which I work in particular. We can approach any platform that any pathway rather, that we feel that we need to. So if you're somebody who doesn't really want to discuss anything personal with a group of people, you have the other route to go down. You can speak to somebody on a one-to-one. So you have different pathways that you can follow. So it's actually, it caters for everyone. So yeah, and I love the way that they've embraced the fact that, you know, everybody's invited to all these meetings. We speak about it. Not everybody's got their cameras on, you know, they're on mute. They can input as much or as little as they want.
Absolutely, they've got that.
Absolutely, yes. And those in the background who don't want to be seen or heard can actually pick up a lot of information, because a lot of the topics concerned are shared. You're given links that you could follow. You know, you're given leaflets and organizations that you can approach. Now, just going back quickly to the HRT, I just wanted to say that although it wasn't my choice, it doesn't mean that it's not for everybody. Of course, it will work for some people, and
works for some women.
Any extreme symptoms, from what I remember, that should stop anyone from actually considering it. You could start taking it and you could say, well, it's not for me. I'm going to stop. You could try different things.
Absolutely. I think
it's just about finding what works for you and your body.
Right.
Find, you know, what you need for your pattern in life, where, you know, where this is.
Men will experience, if not majority of the symptoms, they'll at least experience 6, 7 of them. And I feel that it's your choice, the route that you go down. And it is important to do the research. It is good to talk, keep the conversation going.
Definitely.
Talking about it. Now, Val, if you had 3 tips that you would share with women, what would that be?
The first one would be communication.
Mm-hmm.
The second would be research.
Mm-hmm.
And don't settle for the first thing you come to around that research. Research, then make a decision. And the third thing is work on your mindset. I think those 3, and not necessarily in that order, but those are the main 3 that actually helps me, always helping me along this journey.
And we mustn't forget the fan at night.
Oh, goodness, no.
We mustn't forget the fan at night.
Definitely have the fan.
And you also said you believe that young women should learn about the menopause as early as it is possible.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Fantastic, Val. You know, one of the things that I think is very important is speaking to women like yourself, because you're in the community. You're not just a professional, you're not just a mum, you're not just a wife, you're someone who's going through these real life.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing the journey. I hope and I pray that, you know, more and more women like yourself will come forward and boldly share their stories, because it is by speaking.
Amen to that. Yes, definitely.
Many of us, we learn a lot about life and a lot about how to deal with certain situations. You've kindly shared with us today the symptoms, you've shared with us what you are using, and you've shared with us the challenges and how you're coping with your second spring of life. And on behalf of Second Spring, I would like to thank you. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
No, it's just to say that it's been my absolute pleasure to do this, because obviously as part of this journey for me, having platforms like this to bring awareness is so important. So thanks for inviting me to do that. And and I hope it does enlighten, you know, and helps others.
I do tell your friends, as I said, we encouraging women not only to talk about menopause, but to talk about all challenges that we are going through.
Definitely.
Period of life. Midlife can be lonely.
Yeah.
It can be life-changing for many women, because many women, for instance, like myself, as you know, I lost my husband in the latter life of my
absolutely.
So go through that long period of being with somebody, and then you end up when you should be with them, going into the old age, and you lose them. So you have to you have to restart again.
Definitely.
You know, this is the reasons why these platforms.
So talk about it. Talk about your, you know, what works for you, what you want to do, what is good for your well-being, and what you need in order to have that decent, that good lifestyle, that holistic lifestyle.
Absolutely. And there's no reason why we as women approaching midlife should not have quality life.
Definitely, 100%.
Absolutely, because to me, age is just an attitude. And on that note, now I would love to thank you.
Likewise.
Well done, and thank you to the NHS for all that you have been doing during this pandemic. And we hope and we can pray and we continue to have our NHS
humbly received. Yes,
and really,
thanks.
Really keep it going.
Definitely give thanks. Thank you.
You are more than welcome. Take care of yourself.
You too.
Family.
Thank you.
And keep the conversation going.
Absolutely, will do.
Take care.
Thanks, Sazz.
You are more than welcome.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
And that's me, Sazz Wanogho-Maud. Yet another bold, inspirational community woman coming forward, a professional sharing her journey of the menopause. Now, I would like to end that on the note by saying, if you are a woman living the midlife and you would like to share your journey, please contact me, sazz@secondspring.co.uk, or alternatively at Second Spring Coach. Drop me a line, drop me a message. Let's keep that conversation going. We are visible. Take care. Look after yourselves.